Welcome to 365 Sports. Paul Catalina, Garrett Ross, Jacob Wilson here today. Smokey had to go back early for had to get his hip looked at today. He had a prior engagement. So we're sans Smokey, at least here. He will be with us in a moment here on 365 Sports. But the big news right off the bat, even live here from Radio Row in Phoenix, is Texas and Oklahoma, they're out. After this season, they're moving on. The exit agreement was made early, $100 million. $20 million of that goes to Fox. Fox also gets a Texas versus Michigan matchup in Ann Arbor. I believe that's in 2024. And then another one, I think the return trip is in 2027 in Austin. So Texas and Michigan are going to play, which comes out of that. So a lot of huge news coming in that. And Mack Rhoades will also join us coming right up here on 365 Sports to talk about the Big 12's end of that and how everybody feels coming out of the deal. But there are things that now kind of open up. The TV deal is done. The OU-Texas exit is done. The Pac-12 right now is trying to get their TV deal done, and they're trying to look at expansion. SMU and San Diego State said to be the hottest candidates for that, with George Kliavkoff being at SMU just the other day on Wednesday and starting maybe a little fact-finding mission there. Now this opens the door for the Big 12 to be aggressive with expansion. Are they going to do it? Are they? I don't know. I don't know, but there certainly are candidates, and I think that San Diego State, in particular for the Big 12, would be a candidate. If you're talking about going out west and being in the fourth time zone, that's the one that is. So there might be some competition. Big 12 and Pac-12 might get into a bit of bidding. Now, I would think if I'm San Diego State, I'd probably lean towards the Pac, but it's going to be who gives you the best deal and who gives you the best opportunity to grow. But you never know, man. I mean, this can get really weird, and it could get really weird again fast with the teams joining. And, look, at the Big 12 wants to kind of envision itself on par with, look, even the ACC has 15 teams, in football. So if you want to put yourself on par with the SEC and the Big Ten, you maybe have to have the same amount of members of them. So be curious to see what happens. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't foresee them like poaching schools from the Big 12 in particular. I think that would maybe be kind of the like Pac-12 collapses last resort thing, but I don't think that's going to happen. So look at those schools like, I know Memphis isn't in that time zone, but are they ready? Is Boise State ready? Who is making those moves that they can join the Big 12? Maybe not in a year, but maybe in 2, 3, or 4 years, as they transition into the next phase of what they're doing. We are joined now by Baylor Director of Athletics, Mack Rhoades. Mack, thanks so much for giving us time today. I know that you're kind of in the middle of a lot of things. We heard the details of the deal. At the end of it, do you feel like all parties got out comfortably and feel that everyone's been made whole?
Yeah, I think that, all parties involved, felt good about the number, including, obviously Texas, Oklahoma, all the Big 12, the remaining, 8, and then the TV partners. And so I think the conversations were, amicable. I think about the word fair, and just given all of the pressing issues, that underlie, a deal like this. I think it's fair for all parties involved, and it, allows, UT and Oklahoma to move on. And I think, more importantly and selfishly, it allows us, the Big 12, the 8 plus the 4, incoming members here on July 1, 2023, to really galvanize and think about the future. And, we now have some clarity in terms of timing, and we can move on with a lot of our plans. And so, I think it's a win for everybody. And, personally, I'm glad that it's happened. I'm glad that we were able to find a pathway for them to leave a year early, and we can move on.
Mack, with this now being done, you know the date that Texas and Oklahoma are leaving. If expansion was on the table, you would have had to clear out so you didn't have, a 16-game schedule, an 18-game. It could have been nuts if you were trying to add teams and coming in out and figuring out who you're going to be. So now that this exit deal is done, not saying that anything would be imminent, but does this open the door for further expansion should the Big 12 choose to go that way?
Getting a new, TV deal, and we were able to do that. And I would say we were able to successfully do that when we think about, not even being within our negotiating window, and being able to move up in the cycle and strike what I think is a very good deal with, the two most prominent TV partners, in collegiate sports, and we'll be the only Power Five that are going to be, partners with both ESPN and Fox. And then, number two strategically was, UT in Oklahoma, and what happens, and is there an opportunity for an early exit that's fair to everyone involved? And we've now been able to accomplish that. And then the third piece is, hey, what does the future of our league look like in terms of membership, and is there opportunity to grow? Commissioner Yormark talked about looking out west. I don't know that he's retracted that statement, but that's next on our mind if it makes sense, and we'll continue to explore.
And finally, Mack, last question for you. Does this ease any of the tension that started 2 years ago as the team started to kind of move when they left, and all the negotiations and back and forth and that, how did that shake out in the long run when it came down to, let's get this over with and move on. Maybe we can have a nice ending season without as much, tension and things hanging over the team's heads?
Depends how the officiating goes, Paul. I did not say that. No, I think it does. There's awkwardness, and we've talked about that a little bit. So I just think now, some of the tension probably, is resolved and diminishes a little bit. And look, we're all professionals, and I think that I guess 14 of us will find a healthy way to exist as 14 members this upcoming academic year, and then we'll look forward to moving on with 12, and we'll see what else happens in terms of conference membership.
Thank you, Mack. That's Baylor Director of Athletics Mack Rhoades here with us a short time just to start off the show, but excellent segment with him getting those details about the OU Texas exit and really what it means for the future. And we know you guys love it on the channel. We know everybody loves to talk about it. Expansion really is kind of at the forefront again for the Big 12 if there are institutions that they feel they can go and get and would make the league better. This is 365 Sports. Smokey's up next to talk about it with us and give his thoughts right after this.